Welcome to the Explainer. We've all been there, right? Staring at a university assignment, wondering where to even begin. But what's the secret sauce that separates a good project from a truly great one? Well, today, we're going to dissect the whole process and find out.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the big picture puzzle. Then we'll see how an instructor can design a really engaging assignment. From there, we'll jump into a student's guide for acing it, figure out the science of fair greeting, and finally, we'll connect all the dots and close that learning loop. All right, let's kick things off. You see, at the heart of any course, there's this fundamental puzzle that every professor, every instructor has to solve. What does it take to create an assignment that isn't just a grind, but something students are actually excited to tackle? Well, the answer isn't just one thing. It's really about connecting three critical pieces. First, how you design a creative project. Second, how a student can build a solid plan to tackle it. And finally, how you grade it in a way that's actually fair and reliable. When you nail all three, that's when the magic happens. So, let's move on to Act 1. It all starts from the instructor's point of view, designing an assignment that really works. The number one challenge? Avoiding those assignments that just feel boring, disconnected. Especially in those big foundational courses, it can feel like you're just getting a box of random puzzle pieces. You learn about pricing over here and promotion over there, but you never really see how they all snap together to make one big, coherent picture. So, how do you connect those pieces? Well, one paper had this absolutely brilliant solution, the dollar store marketing plan. I love this. The premise is so simple but so effective. Student teams grab some super mundane, everyday item from a dollar store, and their challenge? Build a full-scale marketing plan to make that little thing profitable. And this is where it gets really clever. The setup, it's not just a paper, it's a full-on business simulation. Students are put in the driver's seat as a product manager. They're handed a product that's already losing 50 grand a year. They've got 24 months to turn it around. And get this, they have unlimited capital. But, and it's a big but, they have to pay it back. These constraints make it feel real, urgent, and they force you to be incredibly creative. And the payoff for this approach is just huge. For starters, it's cheap, no expensive software needed. It totally sparks creativity. I mean, how do you market a plastic spork, right? But the biggest wins are that it teaches a holistic view of marketing. And critically, it stresses financial accountability. And you know what? The research shows that students actually think it's fun. Imagine that. Okay, let's flip the script. Now you're the student. You just got this assignment. It sounds cool for sure, but also a little intimidating. Where do you even start? What's the game plan for success?
All right, listen up. Before you write a single word, before you even open a textbook, you've got to dissect the prompt. There's a super simple but powerful method called the BUG technique. First, B is for box. You find those command words like analyze, compare, evaluate, and you put a box around them. These tell you how to approach the question. Next, U is for underline. You underline all the key content words. And finally, G is for go back. You constantly go back to those words to make sure you're staying on track. Now, BUG is just step one in a bigger workflow. Once you get the question, you can do your research and get a first draft on paper. But here's the secret sauce that so many students skip. Steps 4 and 5. That's where you self-reflect, get feedback before the deadline, and then actually implement those changes. It's that disciplined, iterative process that separates a decent paper from a truly great one. I mean, this quote just says it all. First-class work is not a first draft. Sadly, it's like the 20th draft. You got to think of your first attempt as this sacrificial draft. It's meant to be changed, improved, and built upon. The A+ marks are earned in the revisions, where you sharpen your arguments and perfect your structure. So, the student submits their amazing 20th draft. Now we're back in the instructor's chair, with the critical task of evaluating it. How can we make this process as fair and meaningful as possible? Well, first, we need to get that assessment serves two different purposes. There's assessment of learning, that's the high-stakes final grade, the summative one, but then you've got assessment for learning, which is formative. That's all about providing feedback along the way to help students actually improve. When it comes to that big final grade, the goal has to be fairness. And to get there, we need to talk about a concept called reliability. All it really means is, how consistent is the score? If a student took the test again, would they get roughly the same result? And for a high-stakes university exam, there's actually a target number for this. a reliability score of at least 0.8. Think of it as a scale from 0 to 1. A 1 would be a perfect test, which doesn't really exist. A 0 means the results are completely random. So hitting 0.8 or higher tells us the test is a consistent and fair measure of what a student knows.
And here's why this number is so important. No test is perfect. Even with a really reliable test, a score of 85% isn't an absolute truth. It's a range. Your true score is likely somewhere between 82 and 88%. It's such a crucial reminder that a single number never, ever tells the whole story.
So how do instructors build a reliable test? A key tool is the test blueprint. It's basically a detailed plan they make before writing the exam. They map every single question back to a specific topic and a learning outcome. This guarantees the exam is a fair and balanced sample of the course material. No surprises.
Okay, we've seen the assignment design, the student's process, and the final assessment. Now let's bring it all together and close the loop. It all starts with that creative spark. An instructor designing an assignment that isn't just busy work, but a genuine, engaging challenge that makes you connect all the pieces of the puzzle. Then, that creative spark is met with disciplined action. A student who has a clear, methodical process can take on that challenge and transform a complex problem into a polished, insightful piece of work. And finally, all that hard work gets its validation through an assessment that is just as thoughtful as the assignment itself, one that's fair, reliable, and a true measure of what was learned. And when you put it all together, you see it's not a straight line, but this powerful, integrated loop. Each part fuels the next. Great design leads to great work, which is met with fair assessment, and that encourages both better teaching and deeper learning. It's a virtuous cycle. So I want to leave you with this question. How might understanding this learning loop change the way you approach your next project, whether you're the one assigning it or the one completing it? Because this framework isn't just about grades, it's about the very structure of how we learn. And once you understand that, you can become a better teacher and a better learner.